Can I play?
All right, you and Kelvin against me and Jamal.
Oh, man, he's a girl.
Girls can't play no ball.
Ball better than you.
The love story that made millions believe in soulmates was secretly a nightmare for its star. For over 2 decades, fans have cherished love and basketball as a perfect romance. But behind the iconic scenes and unforgettable chemistry, there was a hidden world of doubt, misery, and real-life drama. The on-screen passion was real, but what you never knew was that it was fueled by a secret love affair, a star who was pushed to her breaking point, and a director who made her cry. A star forged in doubt and tears.
A man looked me in my eye and he lied to me like it was nothing.
Coach has us on 11 o'clock curfew. If I'm late, I don't suit up.
The story of love and basketball begins with one person's dream. Director Gina Prince Bythewood wanted to tell a story that was deeply personal to her. She grew up as an athlete, playing basketball and running track, and she wanted to see her own life on the big screen. Her big idea was to create a black version of the classic movie When Harry Met Sally. It would be a love story that followed 2 people over many years, showing how their friendship grew into something more. But this time, the story would be about black characters, something she felt was missing from Hollywood. She poured her heart into the script, but when she took it to the major movie studios, every single one of them said no. Day after day, her agent would call with bad news. The studios told her the movie was too soft. They wanted a story with more violence and danger, like other popular black films from that time. They even suggested adding scenes where a character chases her husband with a knife. But Gina refused to change her vision. This movie was her baby, and she was determined to make it her way. Finally, with the help of famous director Spike Lee, she got the green light to make her movie. But now she faced her biggest challenge yet, finding the perfect actress to play the main character, Monica Wright. Gina had one very strict rule. The actress she hired had to be a real basketball player. She believed that if the basketball scenes looked fake, the whole movie would fall apart. She couldn't risk setting women's basketball back by putting someone on screen who couldn't play. So the search began. She saw over 700 people for the role of Monica, looking for that perfect combination of acting talent and athletic skill. That's when Sanaa Lathan walked in. Sanaa was a talented actress who had studied at the famous Yale School of Drama. When she read for the part, she was so incredible that Gina couldn't get her performance out of her head. But there was a huge problem. Sanaa Lathan had never played basketball in her life. She had a background in dance, which meant she could mimic the movements and look like a player, but she had no real skills on the court. This started one of the most grueling audition processes in Hollywood history. For months, Gina kept bringing Sanaa back for more auditions, but at the same time, she was auditioning real basketball players and even hiring acting coaches to help them. Sanaa was caught in the middle. Gina wasn't sure if she could risk casting an actress who couldn't play, but she also couldn't find a basketball player who could act like Sanaa. To prove she was serious, Sanaa started training for hours every single day. Gina hired an assistant coach from the WNBA team, the Los Angeles Sparks, to work with her. Sanaa was put through the same tough drills as professional players, all with no promise that she would ever get the part. The pressure was enormous. The situation became so intense that Sanaa's father, a respected director named Stan Lathan, had to step in. He called Gina personally and told her that what she was doing to his daughter was becoming abusive. He told her she had to make a choice. It was at that moment, after someone asked her if she was making a basketball movie or a love story, that Gina finally made her decision. She realized you can fake a jump shot, but you can't fake the emotion you see in a close-up. She gave the role to Sanaa. But even after Sanaa got the part, the director's doubt did not go away. Gina later admitted that she was constantly giving off a vibe of, "Did I make a mistake?" This created a lot of tension on the set. Sanaa felt that she wasn't truly wanted, that she was just the default choice because the director couldn't find anyone else. She said in interviews that she was miserable during filming. There wasn't a lot of joy or trust in her from the director. This tension exploded one day before they were supposed to film one of the first big basketball scenes. Gina watched Sana warming up and was not impressed at all. She felt scared that she had made the wrong choice. She walked over to Sana and told her harshly that she needed to take the basketball with her everywhere she went. She had to live and breathe the sport. As Gina was speaking, she saw Sana's face start to crumple. The young actress turned away and started to cry. In that moment, Gina said she felt like the worst director in the world. She called Sana later to apologize, but a little bit of friction remained between them for a while. What fans never knew was that this behind-the-scenes struggle was the secret ingredient that made Monica's character so real. The character of Monica Wright is a fighter. She is a talented woman who is constantly being overlooked and told she isn't good enough. She has to fight for every bit of respect she gets on the court. Sana Lathan didn't have to act like she was fighting for respect because she was living it every day on set. Her real-life battle to prove her director wrong, to overcome her own doubts, and to master a skill she had never learned became Monica's battle. The misery and the tears weren't a distraction from her performance. They were the fuel for it. She wasn't just playing a character who felt unwanted. She truly felt unwanted. This is what most fans never figured out. The struggle you see on screen was not just acting, it was real. The secret romance that fueled the fire. While the director was pushing Sana Lathan to her breaking point, she had no idea that her two main stars were hiding a huge secret. It was a secret that would completely change the movie, creating an on-screen love that felt so powerful and real because in many ways, it was. While Sana was dealing with the misery and pressure of the role, she had a secret source of support that no one on the crew knew about. The incredible chemistry between Monica Wright and Quincy McCall wasn't just great acting. It was the result of a real-life love affair between Sana Lathan and her co-star, Omar Epps. Their story didn't start on the set of Love and Basketball. It actually began a year earlier, in 1999, when they both had small roles in a movie called The Wood. They shared a very short scene where they danced together, but that was all it took. A spark was lit between them, and they quietly started dating. By the time they were cast as Monica and Quincy, they were already a couple. But they kept their relationship a secret from almost everyone, including their director, Gina Prince Bythewood. This meant that every time the camera rolled, Gina was unknowingly filming a real couple. She wasn't directing them to act like they were in love. She was simply capturing the natural connection that already existed between them. Their genuine feelings for each other poured onto the screen, creating a chemistry that felt completely unmatched and authentic. This real-life romance was most obvious in one of the film's most famous scenes, the strip basketball game in Quincy's dorm room. While the idea for the scene was in the script, many of the most memorable moments were not. The playful looks, the teasing, and the intimate glances were all ad-libbed by Sana and Omar themselves. What the audience was watching was not just a scripted scene. It was a real couple's private, playful dynamic being captured forever on film. Their secret relationship became a hidden asset for the movie, adding a layer of authenticity that no amount of acting could ever create. For Omar Epps, playing Quincy McCall was a chance to explore a life very different from his own. Unlike his character, who grew up with a famous NBA player for a father, Omar grew up without his dad. He also said he was never the popular kid in school, while Quincy was the big man on campus. But Omar connected deeply with Quincy's more vulnerable side. He saw the movie as a fairy tale love story for women, mainly because the relationship between Monica and Quincy was built on a real, deep friendship. That on-screen friendship felt so powerful because it was strengthened by the real-life love he shared with Sana. The dynamic between them was electric. Omar described their characters as two intense competitors. When they got together, everything became a competition, a playful battle for who was in power. But it was more than that. Quincy was a top player whose path was laid out for him, while Monica had to fight for her spot. This created a lot of spice and tension in their story. The secret love affair between the two stars was the fire that fueled the entire film. Family feuds and on-set shocks.
I like my bullshit job, okay? We got just enough savings to keep your fine ass in Gucci and gold.
But the secret romance between the stars wasn't the only drama happening behind the scenes of Love and Basketball. The stories of the supporting cast, from the parents to the rivals, were filled with their own shocking twists and surprising deals. One of the most important characters in the film is Quincy's father, Zeke McCall, played by the commanding actor Dennis Haysbert. Zeke is a professional basketball player for the Los Angeles Clippers, and his son Quincy idolizes him. But their relationship is complicated. Zeke pushes his son to get an education before going pro, but he is also a terrible husband who cheats on Quincy's mother. This storyline was so crucial to the film that it's shocking to learn that Dennis Haysbert almost turned the role down. He told the director that he was not interested in playing another character who cheats on his wife. What changed his mind was the deep and complex relationship between the father and son. He felt that story was so powerful that he had to take the part. It's a good thing he did, because the moment Quincy discovers his father's lies is what causes him to spiral, ultimately breaking up his relationship with Monica. The tension in Quincy's family was matched by the drama in Monica's house. The relationship between Monica and her mother, Camille, played by the legendary Alfre Woodard, was one of the most emotional parts of the film. Camille wants her daughter to be a traditional housewife, and she doesn't understand Monica's passion for basketball. Their conflict comes to a head in a powerful argument in the kitchen. To make the scene feel as real as possible, Sana Lathan and Alfre Woodard agreed that the slap would be real. The emotional impact was so strong that after the director yelled "cut," both actresses broke down in tears and hugged each other. Their connection on set was so real that Alfre Woodard even improvised one of the scene's funniest lines. When Monica is complaining about playing basketball in Spain, her mother ad-libs the line, "Oh no, are they cursing their mamas in Spain?" These family problems weren't just side stories. They were the real reason for the main conflict. Quincy's emotional immaturity and his inability to support Monica come directly from the trauma of his father's cheating. And Monica's fierce independence and her struggle to balance love and her career come from watching her own mother give up her dreams. The main characters were simply repeating the broken patterns they learned from their parents. But the surprises didn't stop there. One of the film's most savage moments comes from Tyra Banks, who plays Quincy's fiancée, Kyra. The scenes where Monica visits Quincy in Barcelona, Spain, were almost filmed on a cheap studio backlot because the production couldn't afford to fly the cast and crew to Europe. The entire trip was made possible because of a secret deal with Tyra Banks. She agreed to take the small role if she could wear a Virgin Airlines flight attendant uniform in the movie. The airline was so happy with the free advertising that they gave the production all the flights to Barcelona for free. And the coldest move in that scene? That was all Tyra's idea too. She was the one who decided to flash her engagement ring in Monica's face without ever making eye contact. Perhaps the biggest gamble of the entire movie was its final triumphant scene. The scene where Monica finally achieves her dream and plays for the Los Angeles Sparks in the WNBA was filmed during a real, live professional basketball game. The filmmakers were given permission to shoot on the court at the Great Western Forum, but they had a very small window of time. Sana Lathan had only one chance to get the shot right. With a real crowd watching and real WNBA players like Lisa Leslie on the court with her, she had to perform under immense pressure. She nailed it in one take, creating a completely authentic and powerful ending that captured the raw energy of a real pro game. Life after the final buzzer.
Female superstar athlete whose mother is nothing but a housewife.
It's not
You never stood up for yourself. Ever. Home cooking and ironing his drawers.
After the final buzzer sounded and the credits rolled on Love and Basketball, the lives of its stars were changed forever. The film became a cultural touchstone, a beloved classic that launched its cast into new levels of fame. What they have done since 2000 shows just how much this one special movie shaped their futures. For Sanaa Lathan, the difficult and miserable experience of playing Monica Wright turned into a career-defining moment. After the film's release, she became a major star, appearing in hit movies like Brown Sugar, Alien vs. Predator, and The Best Man Holiday. Her talent wasn't just limited to the big screen. She earned a prestigious Tony Award nomination for her role in the Broadway play A Raisin in the Sun, and more recently, she received an Emmy nomination for her work on the hugely popular TV show Succession. In a beautiful full-circle moment, Sanaa has now stepped behind the camera, making her debut as a director with the film On the Come Up. And the friction that once existed between her and director Gina Prince Bythewood has completely disappeared. Today, the two are great friends, but perhaps her most important work is off-screen. Sanaa started the Sanaa Lathan Foundation, a charity that helps young women who are aging out of the foster care system, giving them the support they need to build successful adult lives. Omar Epps also saw his career continue to soar. Shortly after Love and Basketball, he landed the role of Dr. Eric Foreman on the massive hit Medical Drama House, a show he starred on for 8 seasons. His famous real-life relationship with Sanaa Lathan eventually came to an end, and in 2006, he married R&B singer Keisha Spivey. Together, they have 2 children, and Omar also has a daughter from a previous relationship. In a surprising career turn that no one saw coming, Omar Epps has become a successful author. He wrote a powerful memoir about his life called From Fatherless to Fatherhood, and has also published a series of popular fantasy novels for young adults. The legendary Alfre Woodard, who played Monica's mother, has continued to be one of the most respected actresses of her generation. Her incredible career includes 4 Emmy Awards, a Golden Globe, and an Academy Award nomination. She has been happily married to her husband, writer Roderick Spencer, for over 40 years, a rarity in Hollywood. They have 2 adopted children, Mavis and Duncan. Beyond her acting, Alfre is a dedicated activist. She co-founded an organization called Artists for a New South Africa, which works to promote human rights and fight the spread of HIV/AIDS. She was so respected for her work that she was asked to serve on President Barack Obama's Committee on the Arts and Humanities. And then there is Dennis Haysbert, the man who played Quincy's father, Zeke. After Love and Basketball, his career reached iconic status. He became famous for playing President David Palmer on the hit TV show 24. His performance was so powerful and believable that many people believe his role helped America become comfortable with the idea of a real black president. But for millions of people around the world, he is not an actor or a fictional president. He is the calm, trustworthy, and unmistakable deep voice of Allstate Insurance. He has been the company's spokesperson since 2003, asking the famous question, "Are you in good hands?" He continues to act in movies, including the recent comedy Summer Camp, and even has his own line of golf clothing. The cast of Love and Basketball didn't just make a movie. They created a legacy that continues to grow even 2 decades later. The real reason we still love the game, the real reason Love and Basketball holds such a special place in our hearts, is because it was real. What fans never figured out is that they were not just watching a movie. They were watching a young actress pour her real-life misery and frustration into a character that would define a generation. They were watching a real-life couple's secret love affair unfold on screen. The on-screen struggle was real, the love was real, and the family conflicts were rooted in truth. All these hidden pressures and secret passions are what transformed a simple script into a timeless classic.